Okay, I'm going to run you through how to use one of these. This is a foam roller, if you've never seen one of these before, and they are really good to do a little bit of self-release of muscles. Obviously not as good as getting a massage, but if you need to release some tight muscles, this is a good way to go. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it on the glute. But if you think about the size of the glute in comparison to some of the muscles in your back, or even sometimes in the arms, the shoulders, whatever you're trying to do, the glute and the leg muscles, so like the quads, the hamstrings, they're quite a lot larger and they're usually quite a lot meatier than muscles, say, in this region. So if you did want to try and do some self-release in this region, you'd be looking at using something like a lacrosse ball, a massage ball, like a spiky ball, or a massage tool to get into these areas, because this is probably a little bit too big. However, I'm going to show you on the glute. So, nice and simple, we need to contact foam roller to glute, but we want there to be some pressure to it. So, I'm going to go ahead and sit down onto the foam roller. And then in this position, I want to get the muscle in quite a lengthened state. So I'm going to go into this kind of mid-glute stretch about here. So the glute is kind of a little bit lengthened out. It's not in its tightest contracted point. From here, I'm going to just very, very gently, I'm supporting myself as well because I don't want to go all jellyfish and just not have any control of the foam roller. I'm rolling myself to a point, which is already quite painful, but where I find a tender spot. It shouldn't be, ouch, painful. I've hurt myself. It's usually just a little bit tender. We call this area, usually this area of tenderness that you find at there it is, certain point, a trigger point. So I find that trigger point. I'm going to stay there for about 10 to 15 seconds. I'm going to breathe through it. If it feels unbearable, obviously don't be silly and just stay there. Can come out of it. I'm going to stay there for about 10 to 15 seconds. Feels a bit tender, but doable. From there, I'm just going to gently start to roll forward and back over that trigger point. Trying to get it to release a little bit. Sometimes they can be quite stubborn. This one is being quite stubborn, but I can feel that it is slowly starting to let me release it. And then eventually you can work that roll out over the entire muscle belly. And that is trigger point number 1 of about 10. Done. It's going to be different. However many trigger points you have in there is going to really differ person to person. But yeah, you can do that on quads, hamstrings. Again, if you're going to go more upper body, you probably want to use something a little bit smaller.